Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where I give you the opportunity to test your comic book grading skills up against actual results from CGC. This video is part 4 in I'm not quite sure how many part series that I'm doing featuring my good friend Octavio's submission to CGC. Thank you once again, Octavio, for making your books available to all of us so that we can practice our comic book grading skills videos. If this is the first one of these types of videos that you've seen from me, welcome. Thank you so much for checking it out. I have lots of other ones that I definitely recommend you check out as well. Just look for it in the playlist here at my channel. In addition, once again, this is part 4 of a many-part series that I have been doing featuring this collection, so maybe you might want to go back and check out parts 1, 2, and 3. But regardless, if this is your first time, welcome. What we do here is I am trying to give everybody the opportunity to practice their comic book grading skills so that we can all become better, more confident submitters to CGC. You want to have a really good idea what grade to expect when submitting to CGC to protect your investment, and practice is the best way to do it. And I did not find that kind of content on YouTube, so I decided to make it myself. What I do is I show you a video that we made of the books when they were raw, before I sent them to CGC, or in this case, Octavio sent them to CGC. We assess the books. We look at them, we see if there are any flaws, any damage, anything that might impact the grade negatively. Then we give our best guess as to what we think the grade should be. Then we get our books back from CGC, we unbox them, and we see what grades CGC gave them, and then we see how we did. Did we nail it? Were we off? And if we're off, we use this as an opportunity to learn how we can adjust our grading so that we make sure that we're as close to matching what CGC does as often as possible. Now, this is an interesting one today. We're going to be looking at 3 books that just all happen to be the same title, the same issue. 3 different copies of the same issue. Now, that's a fun thing, but in addition, something that's interesting about this, I try not to say too much ahead of time because I don't want to bias you as you're assessing the books for yourself, which you'll do in just a moment. But I was very surprised with the grades that these books received. They seemed quite different in their condition, and yet the grades did not reflect that. So this was a very interesting set of 3 books. Not only is it an opportunity for me to learn something, and hopefully for you as well, but potentially to be like, CGC, what's going on here? Their behavior maybe was a little bit questionable. But anyways, enough of that. This intro is long enough. Let's go ahead and take a look at the books we are going to be talking about today when they were raw. All right, now we have the first copy of DC Universe number 0, first cameo appearance of Larfleeze, first cameo appearance of Genocide, and first cameo appearance of Red Volcano. At first, you can kind of already see some of the issues here. There are some color-breaking spine ticks. Looks like they're... No, that might be in the art right there at the bottom. I thought it was a scratch. Where the paper's been folded, you're going to see a little bit of issues, but that shouldn't hurt the grade too much. What will are those color-breaking spine ticks. 1, 2... 3, 4. Yeah, those are substantial. They're pretty big. There aren't a ton of them, but they are nice size. So I think they're going to hurt the grade to a moderate degree. The rest of this cover looks good. Not too shabby at all. Actually, really pretty great. It's always a shame to me when a book looks this good but still has those kind of defects on them. On the back here, boy, this is a dark advertisement on the back. This is probably going to show us all of the defects. Looks like there's some scratches in there, but I don't think that's going to hurt the grade very much. But that edge looks pretty good, maybe a little something something there. That corner looks a little dinged up. Let's see, maybe a little scratch right there, but not so bad. But that corner is a little angrier than I like. Here, of course, we were going to see more color-breaking spine ticks. Look, see that scratch through there as well, that nice little crease indentation, the color-breaking spine ticks. yeah, I mean, it's not a bad looking book, but it definitely has some flaws. I think it's going to be an 8.0. Next up, we have another copy of DC Universe Zero, as you knew very well was going to be coming. This book, I believe, looks a little bit better at first pass here on the spine. I don't really see much by way, oh, there's something right there. We're going to see it. So there's a little bit of a color-breaking spine tick there at the end. There's one right there. Boy, I went through here pretty fast. But yeah, I mean, there's some minor flaws in there, but nothing too dramatic. This side looks pretty good as well. This is a good looking book. I don't have much to say because I don't see very many problems. But let's see what's going on the back here. There's some light creases in there. That corner's a little dinged. See those light creases, interacting with the hotspot? That there along the edge looked like there was a little bit of a lift there. That edge is also not perfectly straight. It looks a little damaged. That corner isn't bad as the other one, but it doesn't look great. Boy, I went really fast on this one. The spine looks good. Maybe some minor little color breaks right there. Wow, I think I might have been too hard on this book in my original assessment, but I'm going to stick... Oh, what was I showing us here? Oh, yeah, you see that right there? That's a nice little flaw right there. Nice little color-breaking scratch and some issues there. Yeah, it's a good-looking book, but I'm going to give it an 8.5. And finally, we have the last copy of DC Universe issue number 0. Now, this one, I think, is practically perfect in every way. Let's see if we can find any flaws with it. So far, so good to me. I don't see any issues. Was that a little something? I don't know. It looked okay to me. Yeah, I mean, that looks like a good spine. Going along here, along the edge. Yep, that's good. That's good. I mean, this all looks good to me. You let me know down in the comments. Refer to this as the third book. Let me know if you see issues with this book that I don't see, because I'm not seeing any problems with this book. Going to the back here where this advertisement shows us all the issues that could possibly be, I don't see any. The edge of this book looks really, really good. Some of those superficial scratches once again, but nothing significant. Maybe a little something on the edge there, but I don't think that's going to hurt it too much. This is the best of those three corners that we've seen, the three books. And the spine looks good. I don't see any color-breaking spine ticks. Maybe a tiny little something there, but once again, that's from the fold. I don't think it should hurt the grade too much. This is a really good book. I have to think it's a 9.8. Okay, so now you have the opportunity to assess the next three books from this submission. You've seen the video when they were raw. You've checked it out and see if there are any damages, any flaws, anything that might impact the grade negatively, and you have guessed what you think the grades should be. I have done the same, and I have shared my guess with you. Now, it's time to find out the results from CGC. Now, I have not looked inside this box at all, but I'm going to give full disclosure. Octavio is here in the room with me. He helped me out by making sure that these three books that are all the same book in different grades are grouped together in this box. And so I know where they are. They're over here on the left. And so out of my peripheral, I'm grouping them together. So because I want to talk about all of these three books together in the same video. So let's go ahead and pull out the first one. Now, I'm not going to know which is which. We have our three guesses. We have our three guesses for these books, and we're going to see how we're going to do. Now, you already know the book, DC Universe 0. Now, my three guesses for the grades of these three books were 8.0, 8.5, and 9.8. One of them being significantly different than the other two. But let's go ahead and see what this first grade is. Okay, think about your guesses. Okay, so let's see, is it an 8.0, an 8.5, or a 9.8? It's a 9.0. Okay, cool. So that's a little bit better than what I had guessed. Now we're going to find out just how off I am. Oftentimes I'm off by 1 or 2 increments. So I'm guessing, but I want to nail the grade, as I've said in the videos before, and I'm okay with being off by 1 increment. But being off by 2 increments, I consider to be acceptable, especially if my guess was lower than the actual grade from CGC. So let's go ahead and look at the next book. And it won't be until we've seen all 3 books that we know, or that I know, how far off in general I was in my assessments. So once again, my guesses were 8.0, 8.5, and 9.8. I'm hoping that this one is either a 9.8 or an 8.5. So let's go ahead and see what the grade is to you. Okay, I'll show you this one right here. This is the right book, right? I didn't even look. Yes, DC Universe 0. Okay, and now let me see what the grade is myself. A 9.4. So that's interesting. That's interesting. I'm going to begin to call that a significant difference. If I guessed that one was an 8.0 and it came back a 9.0, I'm going to say that that's acceptable. If I guessed that this one was an 8.5 and it came back a 9.4, I'm going to call that a significant difference. That's 1, 2, 3 grade increments different. So maybe I was a little bit too harsh on these books. There are some theories about sending in multiple copies, or hypotheses about sending in multiple copies of books, that sometimes it can help you, sometimes it can hurt you. There's different schools of thought on it, but let's see here. This is the 3rd and final DC Universe 0 that we are going to be looking at today. I'm really hoping that this is a 9.8 because I'd like to get at least one of these books nailed, bullseyed. Let's go ahead and take a look at the grade. Okay. You've seen the grade. Now let me take a look at the grade. 9.4. Wow. Okay, this is an interesting one to me. I thought it was going to be an 8.0, an 8.5, and a 9.8. Instead, it's a 9.4, a 9.4, and a 9.0. That is super interesting to me and concerning to me. I'm usually not that far off. I mentioned in another video that I don't give out 9.8s lightly. I don't casually give out 9.8s. If I see flaws on the book, I assume it's not getting a 9.8. That's a 9.6 at best. So when I say I think that's going to be a 9.8, it's because I think it's nearly perfect. And if I get a 9.6 and then I'm like, okay, well, there must have been something that I missed. But if I think a book is going to get a 9.8 and instead it gets a 9.4, I really missed some stuff. Perhaps I'm definitely going to go back. I don't think we're going to do a formal post-grading analysis on this, but I'm definitely going to go back and look at the videos in the raw. Just in case I didn't make this clear, I made those videos months ago, and I haven't looked at them since. So I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to have to look at them again and see, like, did I miss something? Because this is a really good opportunity for me to learn. Now, especially that I know what the actual grades were, I can go back and really be like, there's got to be flaws somewhere. Let's go ahead and find them. And if I find them here in the case, maybe I'll pause this video and show you some of the photos and do some narration and show you the flaws that I must have missed in the first place. But listen, all in all, getting a 9.8 is great and ultimately the goal. But if I thought it was going to be an 8.0, an 8.5, and a 9.8, and instead it's a 9.4, a 9.4, and a 9.0. So in general, on the whole, it's probably better a little bit. But I mean, 9.8s are so great, it's hard to be like, there's basically never a concession to not getting a 9.8. You always want the 9.8, and you're always disappointed when you don't. But these are decent, solid grades. And I'm looking forward myself to going back and learning more about why these books might have gotten the grades that they did. And that's exactly why I make these videos, is so that we can all take these grades from CGC and use them as an opportunity to increase our knowledge about how CGC grades stuff, so that we can be better, more confident graders, and so that we can protect ourselves from any kind of potential financial loss by submitting a book that you think is a higher grade than it is, and therefore not as worth as much as you thought it might be. If you like this video and you like this content, likes are appreciated by me. Let me know down in the comments how you did with your grades. I'm always interested in that feedback. Did you nail it? Were you pretty far off like me? Is this blowing your mind semi how it's blowing my mind right now? Let me know down in the comments. In addition, if you haven't already subscribed, man, you gotta get on track, because there's a lot more of these videos coming your way, and I'd hate for you to miss them. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.